You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through your social media feed, and it just seems like everyone else is living this amazing, perfect life. Well, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on why our feeds look so flawless and how that curated perfection is actually shaping the way we see the real world.
We've all been there. You pick up your phone, pop open an app, and suddenly you're scrolling through a world that feels a little bit brighter, a little more exciting, and just shinier than your own. It's a world of constant wins, big successes, and picture-perfect moments.
So that brings up the big question, doesn't it? Why? Why does everyone's life online look like a non-stop highlight reel? It feels like a simple question, but the answer? Well, it's way more complex than you think.
I mean, you see it all the time. There's the big promotion, the launch of a new startup, someone landing their dream job. It's just this endless parade of professional victories.
And then you've got the relationships. Oh, the relationships. Flawless wedding photos, gushing anniversary posts, the perfectly color-coordinated family portraits. It's like a movie montage of ideal romance.
And you can't forget the perfect vacation, of course. Endless sunsets, incredible food, exotic beaches, and somehow not a single delayed flight or mosquito bite to be found. So what is really going on here?
Now, you're probably thinking this is a totally modern problem, an Instagram-era thing. But what if I told you the key to understanding your feed today actually comes from the golden age of television?
Yep, to figure this out, we have to go back, way back, to the 1960s, to a media theorist named George Gerbner. He was studying the huge, world-changing impact of television, and he came up with this really powerful idea he called cultivation theory.
At its heart, cultivation theory is actually pretty straightforward. Gerbner said that the more time we spend living in the world of TV, the more we start to believe that the reality on screen is the real world. In other words, the stories media tell us again and again and again literally cultivate our understanding of reality.
Now, Gerbner's idea was part of this huge shift in thinking. For a long time, theory saw audiences as, passive sponges, just soaking everything up. But this new meaning-making era saw us as active interpreters of the media we watch. And that idea, well, it's more important today than it has ever been.
So, okay, how do we connect the dots from a 1960s TV set to the phone in your hand right now? It's because the dominant storyteller in our culture has changed. That TV in the corner of the living room? It's been replaced by the glowing screen in our pocket.
And this right here shows the crucial game-changing difference. TV was a one-way street. A handful of networks broadcast out to everybody. But social media? It's a two-way street. We are both the audience and the creators. We are all telling the story, all at the same time.
And the scale of this new storyteller is just mind-boggling. When this research came out, Facebook alone had 2.2 billion monthly active users. That's a global storytelling network the world has literally never seen before. Okay, so how does this cultivation actually happen on our feeds? We can take Gerbner's original idea, a handy framework he called the 3 Bs, and apply it directly to the world of social media. First up, social media blurs. It just blurs away all the messy, complicated, imperfect parts of being human, leaving behind this filtered, idealized version of life. Second, it blends. It blends our real, offline selves with our carefully crafted online avatars, and that line between the two gets really fuzzy. And finally, it bends. It gently bends our shared view of reality toward the goals of these massive platforms and, of course, their advertisers.
But this is where the comparison to TV really breaks down. The impact of social media isn't just a bigger, faster version of what TV did, it's something else entirely. While TV might have disrupted our daily lives, social media does something way, way deeper.
Let's think of it like this. Television disrupted a reality by creating this parallel world you could escape to for a few hours. But social media distorts our actual real-world reality. Because we're all participating, we are actively reshaping our shared idea of what's normal. We're building this collective, idealized world that we then feel this immense pressure to live up to.
And we are absolutely swimming in this distorted world. Just look at this number. The average 8 to 18-year-old is consuming media for 7.5 hours a day. At that point, media isn't just something they do. For many, it is their life.
Now, I know this can all sound a little grim, a little dystopian even, but the point of all this isn't to make you despair. It's actually about empowerment, because the very first step to taking back control is understanding exactly how this whole system works.
This quote from Gamson and his colleagues just hits the nail on the head. The real genius of this whole system is that it makes all that blurring, blending, and bending feel totally natural, almost invisible. We don't even realize we're using these images from our feed to build our worldview, but we are, every single day.
So what's the solution? According to the source material, the single most essential skill for our time is media literacy. And this isn't just about finding information. It's about being able to critically analyze the messages we see, to evaluate who those messages serve, and to consciously decide how we contribute. It's the difference between being a passive user and a conscious creator.
And that leaves us with one final and really important question. Cultivation theory shows us we're not just passive victims here. We are all co-creators of this distorted world. So the real question isn't just how do we consume media better, it's how do we start building a realer, more authentic world together.